Warning: Josh is not an expert in any of the crap he talks about. He simply uses his head and does a lot of research so you, the audience, don't have to. Keep in mind, he doesn't know everything, so take the he says with a grain of salt. What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to the podcast that'll change the world. I'm your host, Mr. Quarantino, and on here we have, once again, Mr. JJ Nelson, and today we're going to be talking about fighting once again. But yeah, it's good to have you back, man.
Oh, great to be back. It's been a while, dude.
Yeah, it's been about a month. We've literally been so busy doing all kinds of stuff. It's insane.
It's been like several months.
Oh, no, it's only been about a month.
Bro.
I've been busy dealing with all kinds of BS and everything this past month and everything.
COVID. Yeah, dude, nowadays we just blame it on COVID.
Yeah,
like, why are
everything's
you late
on
to
COVID.
work? COVID. Like, oh, why is my bank account negative? COVID.
Anyway, so today, why don't we go ahead and jump right into it? UFC 266. That one's actually a pretty stacked card. What do you think of that one?
Oh, I gotta check the lineup again. I haven't really checked that one out.
Okay, let me pull it up.
I was gonna say, yeah.
If
we could just get this little motherfucker pulled up.
Yeah, I know Alexander Volkanovski and Brian Ortega are the main event, and then you have Valentina Shevchenko versus Lauren Murphy as the co-main event.
Okay.
And then we also have the legendary and the long-anticipated rivalry between Nick Diaz and Robbie Lawler. We also have Curtis Blades versus, I don't know how to pronounce his name, but he's the one that got slept by Ngannou.
It's another representative from the 209 coming back.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen that full fight in a long time. So
it's been a long time because he was barred from competing at all because the marijuana charges.
That was like years ago though.
Yeah.
That was like years
and then
prior to like the events of that happened like after he was banned for like 5 years, because they gave him the ban that was 5 years and then it got cut. I'm pretty sure it got cut. I'm almost positive it got cut down to 3 years, and then the 3 years was served, and then he hasn't fought since. I mean, that may not be true. Don't quote me on that. I think after the suspension, I think he fought Anderson Silva, I believe. Did he, or was that before?
No, I that was before.
Before, okay.
He hasn't fought since the suspension for the marijuana. That I know for sure.
That's what I thought, which is now legal.
Yeah, thankfully.
Oh shit.
Yeah. But yeah, now so let's just go over it then, break down. So last time Nick Diaz and Robbie Lawler met in the cage was
they
like
were young as fuck.
Yeah, Robbie Lawler still had hair on his head.
Oh, both these little guys had hair on, but Nick Diaz, he's got some. That's when he had his little, his
little goatee,
his little horse hog, wild hogs, fucking goatee right here,
little
fucking patch right there. He had that little shit going, and he was but that dude got some hands, man. That dude's got some hands. Like he's a fighter. He's not no fucking let's get technical. He's like, I'm gonna walk you down and fight you. Like literally in here, if you're backing up, he's getting pissed. Like he's trying to fight you. I understand his frustration where, you're like, if anything, fueling his fire, because if you're not coming at him, we're here to fight. He says it all the time in his press conference. We're here to fight. We're not here to fuck around just to fight. This is the fight game. This is like real shit. This is kill or be killed. Like,
war.
Like his brother says, it's war. Yeah, it's 100% war. This guy's trying to take my head off. You know what? You signed a contract on the dotted line. I'm trying to take your head off. And we're getting paid to do this, by the way. Absolutely.
Well, and so to get more into like the details of the fight itself with the first fight with Lawler and Diaz, because in the first fight originally, like you wouldn't expect it at all, but Nick Diaz knocked Robbie Lawler out. You remember that?
He did, but it was going for a good minute. He gave him a little pop in the mouth a little bit. I think it looked like,
and then he had like a slow fall,
and it stiffed him to the ground a little bit. But it felt like Frankenstein to his face, but it's all right because before that it was going good. They were amping each other up, hitting each other. I think he gave him a good old Stockton slap. Pop, pink.
Pissed off Robbie Lawler for a little bit after he caught him with that. I think it was like a clean left.
I think Robbie let his emotions get the best of him.
Yeah, and you could tell that he got too angry.
Mad, and he fed into what Nick Diaz was trying to do, pretty much.
And then he got caught.
Then he literally caught you. So it's like that he literally did what he exactly wanted you to do.
Mm-hmm. I wonder how it's going to play out this time around, because I don't think Robbie Lawler's going to be. He's a veteran now, so he's not going to be so quick to just let his feelings go. And I feel like
way more matured in the sport,
way more experienced,
way more matured in the sport, and he's definitely not going to be. He's more. I feel even though he is older, I feel he's more dangerous now than he was when he was littler. Even though he was knocking out guys in the welterweight division, I believe.
Yeah, because back then he wasn't a UFC champion. Now he's a former UFC champion. Like he's fought Roy McDonald. He's fought all kinds of people.
He's fought the best of the best. He still is fighting the best of the best, you know.
But then again, it is the 209 Stockton slap. It is Nick Diaz. And just like with Nate Diaz, he went like a 2-year plus layoff, came back, dominated Conor, and then he did the same thing with Anthony Pettis. I mean, he didn't pull it off.
He just came back and just Anthony Pettis got
he got dominated.
I'll just say it. My personal opinion, I think Anthony Pettis probably got the worst ass whooping he's ever received in a fight by anybody, by Nate Diaz.
I think
those brothers, man, those boys know how to scrap.
They do.
I would kill to get probably a day gym session with them guys, man. They could show you a lot. I know them hands are right, so I would like them to get my hands right. Yeah. Just about to that level, literally.
And their boxing is so underrated too, because nobody really thinks of. People tend to forget how much or how talented their boxing actually is, because they're both black belts in BJJ. Yeah, they don't worry about wrestling, but
they don't. I don't think they really focus too much on wrestling. I know they have it in their arsenal, but it's not like a main focus like BJJ and boxing. Yeah. I would say those two are the main objectives of their their game plan when they go in there. You know, despite they just walk people down and just bing bang
volume
boom,
punching and everything.
Yeah,
that's why I was surprised in that first fight between Diaz and Lawler. The fact that Diaz was able to knock him out like that, since he is a volume puncher. So I wonder if it's gonna have kind of the same outcome here, if you're gonna see it again, or if it's gonna be gonna go to decision. And it'll be just like an all-out war between them.
Well, again, you know, they're like I said, they're both, you know, a little older now. They're both more matured in the sport.
Yeah, Diaz hasn't fought in quite a few years as well.
It's definitely gonna be a different fight, different look. But Nick Diaz is gonna be Nick Diaz, man. He's gonna do what he always does. You know, he's the taunt, the trash talk in there, the bullshit, you know, leading up to it. You might get a slap or two in there. Yeah. I don't know. It is avoidable, man. It's just a slap. But, I mean, it's like, come on, dude. You shouldn't be letting anyone slap you in there. Yeah. That deserves a 100%.
I love it whenever, like, the clips with Nate Diaz doing the Stockton slap, and he's just like, I got you, bitch. He did it like Michael Johnson. They did it to Conor and everything. And that's what pissed off Lawler in the first fight, because
points it out, lets it be known, like, yep, I slapped you, and then go back and look at the tape. I slapped you.
Exactly. And now that I recall, I'm pretty sure that's what pissed Robbie Lawler off in the first fight, because he got caught with the Stockton slap, and then he caught with the 1-2.
I don't know. I gotta go back and watch that. I just know he got caught with that left. I think it was that left or that right, a looping left or a looping right, but Nate Diaz swings real long, so it's like.
Yeah, and he's also a volume puncher too. Let me actually go ahead and pull up the fight, and we could go ahead and kind of see it.
Yeah, we can get this pulled up right now.
Yeah, while I pull it up, how do you like the new setup?
Now. Oh, it's good.
Yeah, not having to hold a mic or anything like that.
It's great. I don't like to hold, you know. Yeah, I get to keep my hands free.
Like, don't have to worry about latency, stuff like that.
Hands, you know.
Yeah. Let's see here versus Nick Diaz.
Let's get this rolling.
Yeah, I like this setup too, because you're not having to worry about as much issues coming with it, and then literally got this setup right here, which is the shorter video. Just do the highlights.
227.
Yeah, it's like right here.
So see, right out the gate, he got his hands in the air right there, which would normally be pissing somebody off. Right out the gate, he's got his hands in the air. And he just immediately engages with the mentality of walking you down, swinging. Yeah. This is a fight. We're fighting. See,
we're watching Nick Diaz versus Robbie Lawler, the first fight. We're watching the highlights right now.
They know, man. We just told them we're pulling it up. The hell? See, he just
and then you see. This is a prime example of how lethal their boxing is, because you see Nick Diaz, he's just taunting him, talking shit. Caught him with the Stockton slap right there. Caught him with the 1-2 with the overhand left. And Robbie Lawler gets pissed off, and they just start going at it. Nick Diaz like, what?
Talking the smack. What? This is Nick Diaz. Yeah. Nick Diaz's finest and best.
I love Nick Diaz. He's such a badass.
In this era of Nick Diaz, you couldn't beat him. Like the champ. When he was the Strikeforce champ, it was damn near impossible to beat this kid, and it still is. You know, he comes to fight and scrap. That's what makes him deadly.
And he doesn't stop. Like they got they got the biggest granite chins. They keep on taking hits and everything. They just
Robbie
keep
Lawler,
going.
See, emotionally swinging out of control.
Yeah, and then you see like too, like you remember Nick Diaz versus Paul Daly. Paul Daly rocked Diaz, but he was still able to recover from it, get back, and then ended up taking out Paul.
Ooh, bing, bing.
And then boom, oh yeah, but yeah, he was able to just take out Paul Daly, even going through all that adversity and dealing with all the shots that he took and everything. And more than likely, it's going to be the same thing in this fight. I'd say the only thing that's genuinely working that'll work against Nick Diaz is his layoff, because he's been out of the game for
ring rust, but
5
the ring
years
rust,
at least.
Here's the thing: I don't believe in ring rust because what's his name? I'm pretty sure it was John. Matter of fact, it was John Jones who was gone for a long time, came back and won.
Yeah, because he got banned for the drug use. I'm pretty sure
it was when he fought Daniel Cormier the second time. The first time they were already on a layoff. He was on a layoff. See, falls to his face on the sleeve. But anyways, yeah, Nick Diaz, he's already out. He gets up to protest, and the referee's already jumping in there.
Yeah, because literally Lawler was just falling backwards there.
He falls down, and the second he fell down, it was I gotta say.
And that was just such a clean counter right as well. After you fall and hit your face,
what's gonna happen? He's gonna jump on top of you and bash your fucking head in, dude.
But the question is that gonna happen again this time around? I don't feel like Lawler's gonna make the same mistakes. It's gonna be a
different fight, dude.
Yeah, I feel like this is gonna be like a solid 5-round fight.
They're matured fighters now. They're way more, a little more aged, but they're a little more mature and they're a little more scrappier. So we gotta wait and see and see who the better fighter is that night. Who knows? That might be a number 1 contender fight right there. Nowadays the title fights be handed left and right. You don't gotta do nothing.
For real, you just gotta have the social media following in order to get that fight. Because, I mean, like, you see already, like, Nate Diaz.
It's not 100% social media, but, I mean, it's mainly
able to leverage it. Because, I mean, how else do you think Nate Diaz is right now calling shots?
Social media is a base, but, I mean, when you're more of a higher level, like, when you get to that level, like, we got the Connors, we got the Aldos, we got the Frankie Edgars, we even got the O'Malley's, dare I say. Like, it's like, dude, all these guys are getting big money. Francis Ngannou, Derek Lewis, Cyril Gane, Stipe, DC, all these guys are getting big bucks. Kamaru Usman, Masvidal, they've been around. So these are guys that are getting big bucks.
Yeah, but
and I feel if you're not like these guys, meet the fans. They go out. They have like Dustin Poirier has his own hot sauce. Mm-hmm. He gets out there in his own community, in his own state of Louisiana. He's out there promoting his shit. Like,
and that's his social media following.
I saw a tweet on Dustin today where he's like, he said, after I win the belt, I think I'm just gonna retire and sell hot sauce or stop. And he said something about stopping and selling hot sauce. But I mean, I don't think that's a terrible idea nor a bad idea. I think that's probably a really good idea for him, because what more would he have to accomplish after that? I feel after he wins the belt, it's probably gonna be like there's no more 4th fight, bro, with Conor. I don't see it happening, like, because he did say after he wins the belt, which he's gonna be fighting Charles Oliveira here by the end of the year,
and it's gonna be in Dustin Poirier's
hometown, and we're gonna see Oliveira put in some work and Dustin put in some work in the first time on a grand stage in Louisiana. That's gonna be a good one. I don't know. I think it'll be a split decision. But if Dustin if he can keep that pressure like he always does, the same pressure he brought to Max Holloway, the same pressure he brought to Conor,
he's gonna have to avoid the ground though. I don't think he's gonna be up to par with Charles Oliveira's ground game.
Oliveira, he's a python, but hey man, every fight starts standing up.
Yeah,
you know that. It ain't gonna be no flying anaconda flying at your ass, dude. It's gonna be a flying fist. Like, it ain't going to be like you got to get me there to get me. So it's until you do that, I'm going to piece you up, box you up. I'm going to put on a clinic. And I'm a fighter, so I'm going to put on a clinic. So
I was so surprised by the fact that Charles Oliveira knocked out Michael Chandler. Like, I wasn't expecting that at all, because in all honesty,
he's quicker, he's got, he's a little quicker, more agile of a hand, like,
yeah, but that whole fight,
speed range.
The whole fight was set up in favor of Mike Chandler, because that whole fight to begin with was that whole fight in particular was really odd, because it put out a lot of different fighters who deserved the title shot more so.
How is it? But no, I'm saying, like, how was it set up for Mike Chandler too?
So that was Michael Chandler has more of a social media appeal, more of a public appeal, and because of that, the UFC wanted or were more leaning towards like Chandler winning instead of Charles Oliveira because the UFC
sure
does
it
have a
wasn't
tendency.
about his veteran status he's had in Bellator, or
What
his upcoming fights, or his successful championship reign he's had for several
just
years,
his
holding the
second?
lightweight title in Bellator. Like, dude, we can't just dismiss all his
Oh, I'm not
his.
dismissing him, but
That's
he's
why
only
he
had
got
2
that
fights.
fight. But that's why he got that fight. But he dominated those 2 fights, did he not?
No, he only dominated Dan Hooker, and Dan Hooker,
that was a good fight, but Michael Chandler was the better fighter that night.
Yeah,
okay?
but Michael Chandler needs to fight a top 3 opponent
and then who
instead
did he fight
of
after
Charles Oliveira.
Which
he got one fight and then he went to the title shot.
Because he already had his record, everything he had. Look at his record, and then his history behind him. On top of his first win, how he won his first win in the UFC, which was pretty. I thought was pretty good.
It was a great win.
And, since there was no real contender, and Dustin, would be the next guy, and Conor, got his hands full, can't fight Conor either. So it's like Charles Oliveira. The next, that's the next guy. Mike Chandler was the next guy.
There's plenty of other people to replace him.
He took the fight. Michael Chandler took the fight. That's what it is. He called. He took the fight. Like that's.
It's because they set it up for it to be in Michael Chandler's favor.
If your boss called you and said, "Hey Josh, you want to fight fucking the number 2 ranked lightweight in the world, and then if you win, you can fight the champ." Hell, absolutely.
But Dan Hooker isn't number 2.
But he's ranked.
He's ranked, but he's not number 2. If he was in the top 3, then it'd be a different ballgame.
He doesn't have to be up there. He's ranked. That's the whole point.
Well, no. So you defeat the number 10 ranked fighter.
Dan Hooker's
so you
like
immediately
7 or 8, I think.
7 or 8. So you immediately get to jump the other 6 people that have already done more for the promotion than him.
Those people were busy or either taking a break.
Dustin Poirier was free at the time. Justin Gaethje was free at the time.
He's taking a break. That's why, dude. If you think
Justin Gaethje and Dustin Poirier both tweeted out saying that this title fight between Oliveira and Chandler was bullshit because it just completely ducked them. I don't know. I personally feel,
or they literally had their hands full, or they weren't. They didn't get no phone call, or nothing was negotiated. A closed mouth doesn't get fed. All right, a closed mouth does not get fed. You gotta speak up.
Yeah, they were speaking up.
Your character and career into a next millennia. Like Conor didn't just get all that handed to him. He worked, clawed, scratched for all that money.
To an extent, he was given a golden hand,
fame status, everything, knocking people out in fashion, cleaning out an entire division, and then destroying the pound for pound king for over a decade and a half in under just about 13 seconds. Like. What more? And then becoming a double champ and simultaneously having 2 belts. What more do you really have to do in that sport?
No, that proves my point exactly. Favoritism. Favoritism does occur. The fight between Oliveira and Chandler, it was favorited towards Chandler because it's the easiest setup for a victory. Why else do you think Charles Oliveira, for his first title defense, he should have it in Brazil? But his first title defense is taking place in Dustin Poirier's hometown, which means that Dustin has the home field advantage. How is that not favoritism towards Dustin? He has the home field
advantage, but the people aren't fighting for you, man. You are. People don't fight for you.
That's favoritism right there.
How is that favoritism, dude? If anything, Charles Oliveira, he don't really care. He wants to fight, dude.
Yeah,
cool.
He doesn't care, but it doesn't mean that the favoritism
Charles,
isn't there.
Do you want to fight in the next 2 events in Brazil? He'll be like, yeah, okay, so this first one's going to be in Louisiana. If you win, the rematch is going to be in Brazil. Boom, done right there. Bam, went done and done. Because if he wins, they could rematch in Brazil. They both win because Dustin will win in his hometown. Then if he gets the rematch and wins in his hometown, they both technically win. But, it could go either way. It all depends. The better fighter is that night. It all depends. These guys are out here working their asses off, and
yeah, but the favoritism still happens because there's been plenty of fights set up, like in Conor McGregor, for example. There were fights set up to purposely be in his favor, whether it's like as you've said before, like they're just what's the term for it?
Fight. Well, he's been losing his last fights, and none of those are in his favor.
Well, no,
he's not even winning them.
Well, no, I'm not talking about those fights. What I'm talking about is the favoritism that happens because, like, a prime example is Stipe Miocic.
If it's not recent, should it be relevant? Is that what I'm saying? Like, all his recent fights were losses, so it's like nothing was really.
But you see, Conor has
he was like, the Dana was like, "You want to fight this guy?" And he's not gonna be like, "No." So he was like, "Yeah, I want to fight him," because he's always gonna say that. But it's like, yeah, some fighters maybe like Khabib gets handed. I think Khabib probably gets handed a lot. Like I feel like honestly, in my opinion, his record is like halfway padded up. Like half of those 20 something wins you got right there. Like who are those guys?
And
like,
padded wins comes with favoritism from the promotion. There are plenty
but I'm
of
saying Khabib's
Chandler
got the favoritism.
No, yeah, but he isn't the only one. John Jones has gotten the favoritism. DC has gotten it.
He's been champion
and
undefeated for like a long ass time, and he's never lost. So you got to be the champ. You got to beat the champ. No one's beating the champ. So as far as I'm concerned, John Jones can get a piece of that pie if you really want to get down to it.
No, I got no problem with that. But here's a prime example. How come John Jones gets away with PEDs and all these other different big issues versus
what PEDs?
Literally the cocaine, all the reasons why he was banned multiple times, but then he was getting favoritism.
Like,
how
John
Dana
Jones
White
never
moved,
no PEDs.
how Dana White moved an entire event just for John Jones to be able to fight. Like they switched an entire state for John Jones specifically.
Man, when you're a star and you're the champ and you're the cream of the crop and you're a cash cow,
favoritism.
You get whatever you want. No, that's
favoritism though. Because how come Nick Diaz gets banned for 5+ years for marijuana?
That was before it was
that was
legalized.
That
was before
cocaine isn't legalized.
No,
and yet John Jones gets away with it.
Yeah, and he was charged and arrested for all that bullshit. And he literally was in court week after week after week paying his dues. He served his time for all that. He ain't done no cocaine since the last time I seen him. He was out there in the riots stopping 2 kids from tagging a building.
Yeah, but
that's a good service.
My point is that the favoritism is real because how come an entire event is moved for John Jones, including to avoid USADA regulations, when Nick Diaz, for example, was banned for 5 years off of marijuana? There's a very drastic difference, and that's an example of favoritism. There are certain fighters that get more favoritism than others. I'm not saying it's like happens everywhere.
They earned it.
Not all of them.
Earned it. Yeah.
Not all of them.
Good majority of them, and I say good a majority of them. I'm not saying all of them. I'm saying a majority of them do.
But like some people get the short end of the stick too. Like Stipe Miocic, like every single when he lost to DC.
If Stipe, like I said, a closed mouth doesn't get fed. If DC called Dana White or showed up and like Dana White said, all you gotta do is call me, man. Like he's the boss. He's your boss. If you want a certain fight, you want things, and you're a cash cow, and you're the heavyweight champ of the world, and you got a good reason to say that I want this here, and there. Call him. He's a phone call away.
No, so
call
here's
your boss
the
and ask him. I guarantee he'll give it to you.
See, here's the thing, and I followed the entire breakdown of it too. When Stipe lost to DC, they completely overlooked.
There's didn't give him
completely
nothing. Call me
instead of giving Stipe, and Stipe he did make several attempts to reach out to UFC for a rematch against DC. But instead, what happened is that DC was given another fight, and then Stipe had to wait.
No, not UFC, bro. Dana White. Don't reach out to UFC. You reach out to your boss, Dana White. Fuck the UFC.
Dana White is
the promotion. You talk to Dana White is your boss. They have connections, Dana White, bro.
Yeah, and Stipe was talking to Dana White as well. It's the thing is that no matter what, Stipe was making all the necessary moves to try to get
heavyweight with most title defenses, I think, actually.
Yeah, but he's not. He's being thrown under the bus and neglected because when he lost to DC, he wasn't given an immediate rematch. Instead, he was actually passed over. And then when Stipe won, DC was immediately given a rematch.
But we got to think of alternatives too, like. What if he's taking in like Stipe's a part-time firefighter too, right?
Yeah, but he said
that's a government job.
He publicly stated that he was completely ready and wanting a rematch. So there's no excuse there for anything else coming up or him putting stuff off.
But you know what I'm saying? That
he genuinely wanted to, and
he got pre-booked events, like way pre-booked ahead. So if you want an event, you need to ask for it. Like I said, dude, call him.
He did.
Okay, well, I mean, it's like they don't make everything public. They don't put everything on the internet.
But Stipe did. That's what I'm trying to explain.
My other point is they probably had a conversation where we don't know about. Like, they had a conversation that's not going to be seen by the human eye. It's definitely a behind closed door conversation that they're not just going to be like, oh, yep, our next conversation blasted over the internet. No, they have probably one good conversation in the ones that are important to them where they're like, oh, I feel like I'm frustrated. I feel like this needs to go out on social media. That's what they do. Like Conor, he puts his shit out because he's like feeling some type of way and then he takes it down right away. Because he knows it's going to get a lot of backlash. He puts it out in the heat of the moment and then literally takes it down. So
except
it's
for the stuff with the comments on Khabib's dad.
Khabib's dad,
Yeah,
eating the children,
and then he doubled down on it. Which the eat the children, that's taking a line from Mike Tyson.
I didn't really get that. Eat the children.
Mike Tyson said that when after one of his
it's
fights.
It's still a weird line.
Yeah, but that's something he just kind of quoted from Mike Tyson. But the rest of it was like, it kind of went too far on that. No, it's Stipe. After he lost to DC, he just got dropped off the face of the planet. The same thing has happened after he lost to Francis Ngannou, and he's expressed over several years now distaste for the fact that
he beat DC in their third fight, so he actually didn't lose on his last fight.
Well, no, that I'm not. Well, he lost to Francis, but what I'm talking
Francis, that's
what I'm talking
DC,
about though
he
is
got
that
knocked the fuck out by Francis. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but what I'm talking about is that after Stipe lost to DC, he just got completely thrown under, and then after he won, it was great again. But then after he lost to Francis, he got thrown under again.
But also after that knockout, which was a horrendous knockout, I shall say. Stipe received a 6-month medical suspension, so you have to take those 6 months, and then on top of that, his 6 months, he's got his firefighter job to do. So if shit's popping and going off with his firefighter job, he's got to be there 100% for his government job. That pays the bills also. But so until then, he's gonna be kicking back, training, going to being a firefighter until he gets the call, or until a closed mouth doesn't get fed, or until he speaks up and calls Dana White again and bugs the hell out of him. You'll get the fight, dude. I promise you. That's all you got to do is bug your boss. Like, you bug a job to get the job. You know, 9 times out of 10 they give it to you because you bug them. Pretty much same situation. So it's like literally he bugs him, bugs him. He'll be ready by the time it's booked. He'll be ready to go. 100%. That's how it goes. But he received that. I'm pretty sure he received a 6-month medical suspension after that. So he got the 6 months. And whatever comes after he wants to do after that. So he'll probably be chilling, waiting, or doing his, like I said, firefighter job. It's probably getting serious because I know fires would be happening every day right now. It's hot. Things are catching fire. ACs are blowing the hell up. Aliens are coming by and snatching them and shit off people's houses, and shit's hitting the fan. So it's literally they're catching fire, and it's nuts. So it's like a lot of things are going crazy with the firefighter departments and everywhere, and he's got a government serious job. And
he was recently on a podcast with Jake Paul talking openly speaking up about him feeling neglected and constantly pushed off and thrown under the bus by UFC and by Dana White.
How long ago was it?
This was within the last couple weeks or month.
This was a 2-week old video, you're saying?
This is a prime example. Stipe openly expressing distaste, openly saying that he has made several attempts to Dana White and the UFC promotion to try to get these fights and everything, but he's openly advocating that he feels like he's being neglected and everything. And now even Sean O'Malley is now speaking out against UFC fighter pay and stuff like that.
Well, because once a sheep follows a shepherd, and once one person says it, they're all gonna start speaking up. So literally, I forgot who spoke about it, but someone spoke about the pay, and then
Paulo Costa was one of them.
And then everyone starts speaking about the pay, literally. Well, if you're really good and at the peak of your career and really work your ass off and you win a lot and you win in spectacular fashion, you kind of get given pay-per-view events, a lot of money, fame,
and you earn that right too.
Promotions, endorsement deals, whatever. You get all that stuff.
Yeah.
If you win. Yes, that comes with all that stuff if you win. Yes, all these guys are winning and they earn that stuff. Israel Adesanya has been winning. He just went out and bought a McLaren.
Yeah.
He earned that. He's not, he's got a lot of money, but he doesn't show it. And that's how I think you should, carry yourself when you're rich, quote unquote rich. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
well, I feel
very wealthy is the correct term.
Yeah, and it's always like a gray, complicated area because there are fighters that deserve more pay and everything that are underpaid. I feel like Stipe is a pretty good example of that. But then there are other fighters who will think that
John Jones shouldn't be undefeated for almost several years and still be getting $500,000. You know what I mean?
Yeah, John Jones. I feel like he does deserve to be able to ask for more money.
He's over here getting $1 million and Connor's getting $5 million.
Yeah,
he got $5 million. Dustin Poirier 3, Conor Poirier 3. He got $5 million. I think Poirier got $1.4 million or $2 million or something shit like that. But it's like, yeah, 5 million right there for that one. Like, can you imagine just getting 5 million?
And like that's a pretty good example,
regardless of losing. Like,
yeah, like Francis Ngannou and John Jones, I feel like are two good examples of like fighters who does deserve more pay because there was also a favoritism issue that was going on with Francis Ngannou.
Well, like right now, Francis Ngannou's next big fight, Cyril Gane, he's gonna get. I know he's gonna probably break the bank.
Oh
he
yeah,
has to.
Oh yeah, he has the leverage now. He's proved his worth and everything. He dominated Stipe, and well deserving. He has every right to negotiate any price that he wants. But it's like that. There's like certain fighters
that's what I'm saying. He's got that right. You know, he's
earned it. Like Kamaru Usman too, for example. He's earned his right to ask for a pretty penny.
Knocked out Masvidal, has never been knocked out. I think he deserves, a good amount. He's being up there compared to GSP and shit now. You know what I'm saying? But he's not at that level yet. But I'm saying that motherfucker's on the rise, bro. The GSP level. He is on the rise. He is like, might as well be the black GSP, dude. Literally, Kamaru Usman. I'm not even playing. That dude is strong.
Yeah. I didn't really like Kamaru Usman starting out. I was more so in favor of like Jorge Masvidal and whatnot. But it's just like you can't help but to respect Kamaru with all the work that he's done. And it's just ever since he became champion, now things have really been kicking up for him. He broke Colby Covington's jaw.
Yeah,
he knocked out Jorge Cole.
Colby Covington still protests to this day about his loss, and it's like, man, even though you still fought with a broken jaw, he beat your ass, dude. Like, look at your face compared to him.
He definitely
broke your face. Like he was saying, he literally broke your face, bro. Like like, I don't know why he's still running his mouth. He's going to break his face again, and it's going to be even worse this time. Put him to bed, put the nail in the casket. Bye-bye, Colby Covington. Fake bitch, get the fuck out of here. Like, literally, that's going to be the end of the Colby Covington era. Yeah. You're going to lose twice to Usman, never get a title shot again, fall off the map. You're going to be begging for fucking fights here and there. Putting tweets here and there, taking pictures, paying bitches to be in pictures WWE here and there, or making WWE appearance and be a fake, even more fake ass. So it's like
do a turnover like Ronda Rousey.
Yeah, but Ronda Rousey, she was successful in the WWE a little. She was actually the Raw Women's Champion at one point.
Yeah.
So congratulations, shout out to Ronda Rousey for winning the Raw Women's Championship. That was pretty dope. They, gave her that opportunity to do that, and she actually pulled it out on top. So that was pretty cool. I wish she was kind of back in that because I enjoyed watching her on that. I'm a huge WWE fan.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool seeing Ronda, the Roddy Piper entrance music and everything, and the colors and her stance and everything. She just, keeps a little bit of her MMA and then brings out the WWE-ness, the excitement, the eccentric energy of her character in that sport, and I guess I'd call it a sport. I don't know.
Well, yeah, wrestling is a combat sport, technically, right?
Sport, yeah, technically. I was gonna say, but she's she's the shit.
Yeah. Well, so let's go ahead and move on to the next thing because we actually covered all right there. Let's talk about all the drama and everything with Conor because we were touching on it a little bit ago about the conversation, but the fact that he broke his ankle. He was training and fighting with an injury, which I think is pretty asinine. And now calling for a fourth fight.
I think it was
he had a crack.
A fracture. He already had it's called
like a hairline fracture.
A hairline fracture or something like that. He already had like a pre-injury to his fight, and he was. In all his pictures and his tweets at the end of his sessions, you see him icing his knee and everything. His broken leg, that was before broken at the time. But he was icing that foot, favoring that foot. So he knew what he was doing. He could have pulled out, but Conor ain't pulling out of no fight, man. He shows up to fight every single fucking time.
Yeah, but, don't get me wrong. I love Conor. I wish there's a lot of things he would change, and I wish he could go back to being dominating as he was before. But, come on, bro. You can't start coming out with all these excuses after the fight because you broke your leg and you had an injury before. You could have avoided this career-ending injury potentially. You could have avoided the loss entirely.
Well, no, we can't say potentially career because look at Anderson Silva.
Yeah, Anderson Silva never made a comeback in the UFC, and he moved over to boxing.
Well, yeah, and Conor's already been in boxing, so I'm saying that wouldn't be a bad idea for Conor.
Yeah,
Make
but
millions more dollars.
But do you
Fuck
think?
it, right?
But do you think with this ankle break going based off of Anderson Silva, for example, do you think Conor could be a UFC champion? Do you think he could take on Charles Oliveira, who could put him in an ankle lock?
He doesn't have to. He's been UFC champion. He's been double champion. He
But
doesn't have to do it again.
He wants to, though. That's what he's trying to do. He wants to become the champion again.
Yeah, but it's not working out. Clearly, it's not working out, right? He just broke his leg. It's not working out. I'm just seeing it as it is. And if it doesn't look like it's working out, because if you don't win your next one, then I'm not sure, Conor. I mean, Conor is literally the pinnacle of, like, I think he's the shit, dude. That dude's like literally a beast. He comes in to fight every time.
But I don't think he's
on his sleeve, and he is literally.
I just don't think he's being smart about things, because he could have. This is him breaking his ankle.
Confident.
Well, confidence can also breed. Oh, what's the word I'm looking for? Confidence can also get replaced with ego and ignorance, and I think this is what
Conor McGregor became with Conor. Conor's name itself is an ego.
Yeah, but look at it. He now has an injury that could end his MMA career.
Well, that's really unfortunate, but shit happens.
And he could have avoided that. He could have avoided that entirely.
He could have, but he's not going to pull out his fight, so I guess you could say that's his fault.
It is his fault.
But again, I'm sure he can give a flying fuck. He's still going to come back and still do it until his leg literally, all his limbs are broken, probably death. Like, he's a guy that fight. He's a warrior. He's a guy that gets in there and does it.
I give him that respect.
Went to war with Nate Diaz, beat his ass both times, lost the first one, beat his ass both times, though, beat his ass again, won the second one. They need to do a third one. That would be a good fight.
There is talks about that and everything, yeah, about there being a third fight, but it's
very
Conor. The reason why he's wanting to continue fighting is because he loves to fight. But if you're gonna go into fights injured and you're gonna just potentially end your career like that, like, where comes the line between just being?
Well, he didn't know he was gonna shatter his leg like that.
Oh yeah, nobody expected it, but it's like
he had no clue. But it's just a freak accident, bro. That's the risk you take when you step in there. You could die in there, like
you could die. But
he just broke his leg.
But why was he kicking with the bad leg? He should have had.
Didn't know, or he didn't care. He didn't think it was gonna break. But I mean, ipso facto, it broke. So it's like. He took the chance, and you got busted.
He paid a very big price.
It busted. You paid the ultimate price. You lost the fight, and you broke your ankle. I mean, that's just. And somewhere in that fight, when Dustin pointed at his, when he kicked him, I'm thinking that Dustin knew that that it popped. He heard a pop or something, so he was probably letting him know. And Conor, as being Conor, probably didn't give a shit. And he was just literally like, there was
no check.
No check. And I didn't see a check either, to be honest.
Yeah, I didn't see a check.
I saw the other tweet from Conor the other day, and with the picture, and that's an inside leg kick, bro. That ain't no check. He kicked you. One of his other kicks were on the inside leg, and he kicked your leg out. That is not a check. Okay, a check is holding your leg up, knee up, straight, like this, and literally blocking the kick, deflecting it completely, bouncing it off your leg, pretty much. That was not at all what Dustin was doing. Conor was kicking him, and the shit was flying out. It's like an Anderson Silva, Chris Weidman moment. Anderson Silva was kicking Chris Weidman's legs from the get-go, almost literally, like when they were fighting. And one of his Anderson Silva kicks with all his might too, his little skinny ass Usain Bolt legs. He kicks, bow, snap like a toothpick. Yeah. Eventually, it's gonna give out, especially if you kick it in the same spot, same location, in a harder spot on the other person's body, like a kneecap or an elbow, something like that nature. Like, literally,
he should, if he was injured going into the fight, instead of just swallowing, instead of just going off your pride and just pushing through it, like, I don't know, it's like he should have made the smarter move of that's a hairline fracture, and he was throwing some hard kicks with that same foot. Why are you going to do that and end your career, like, potentially as it's going to be now, and just not think it through? He should have postponed the fight.
He didn't know it was going to break, though, man.
Yeah, I'm sure, but it's like, how can you not anticipate something like that when you already have a hairline fracture?
Or why did he do that? He didn't know it was going to break. He's just in there fighting. It just happened. It's a freak accident.
I know.
Yeah, he knew it was hairline fracture, but he didn't know it was gonna break in the fight. He thought it was just
He should have
eventually.
had enough
I'll throw some
comments.
ice on it after the fight, and
He should have had enough common
No.
sense, though. It's like, okay, if I have a hairline fracture in
It's
this
Conor.
ankle,
We know he throws that shit out the window when he goes into fights.
but he should
uses tactics when he loses. He goes, studies, comes back, wins. That's what he does. Is also, and he whoops ass, looks good. You know, like he said, that's what he does best. 100% stand by that. He literally goes back, drawing board, comes back and wins. So hopefully he can go back to the drawing board and come back and win this fourth one. Because I believe the fourth fight is definitely gonna happen. Because if you don't win this fourth one, man, I feel like this fight could be a make or break for that career. But even though he's got the Burger King endorsements, champ, the proper 12, you know, he's got commercial endorsements, video games, he's in called, like, he's literally he's set for life. Like, you know, he just got like a 3.2 billion, or I think it was a 3.2 million or $3.2 billion yacht he made. He hadn't built, and it just literally set sail, like, I think a few weeks ago or a couple weeks ago or some shit like that. In that time,
he's filthy rich and everything. Like, but what about his legacy?
He don't have to fight no more. His legacy, he's got a good legacy. He's fought the best of the best in boxing. Literally, an undefeated Mayweather. How much more better of a fight could you get? Like, I don't know if he's gonna be interested in fighting Canelo or Pacquiao, or the Pacquiao deal was coming together. He was gonna fight Pacquiao. That was coming together, and then the Poirier fight arose, and he immediately jumped on it because he loves mixed martial arts. It's a fight.
I feel like, because there's a lot of fighters that like to go for the legs and like to go for the ankles, and that no matter what, Conor, even if he has a titanium rod through his leg, it doesn't mean those ankle kicks or fucking leg locks, stuff like that, doesn't mean it's not gonna hurt. And I don't know, because right now the only reason why Conor's really fighting is because he loves to fight in the legacy, but he's done something now to him that potentially will compromise his ability to get any other wins, period. He'll have no more future.
We don't know that until we see it.
So until we see it.
We got to check his fight out when he comes back. Then
I feel like he could be very successful as a boxer, though. If he just, because of this injury, if he decided to just go to boxing only, I honestly feel like he'd thrive. He would just have to fix his cardio. His cardio has always been the issue.
Well, his cardio, I feel, is pretty good for at least 2-3 rounds max, 3 rounds solid. And not a lot of people make it past the 3rd round with him, other than real top tier guys. So I mean, good luck with that. Okay, Eddie Alvarez, you know, he didn't really have a whole lot of luck with that.
Yeah, Eddie Alvarez got wasted.
You know, that was a fight I think Eddie Alvarez was in on over his head in, and he bit off more than he could chew. I think Conor was going to starch him from the get-go. I think everybody did.
He went ultra instinct mode in that fight against Eddie Alvarez.
Yeah, Conor McGregor he moves at a weird, you know, him like water, like Bruce Lee. He moves like this motherfucker, moving like smoke. Like, he's literally just moving. He knows how to move his body. He does specific training with breathing, everything. Like, you know, he used to do all that. Like Nate Diaz playing touch butt in the park. Like, you know what I'm saying? That coach. That was funny as hell, man. That fight, funny. Man. Their promos and their press conferences was the shit. I would kill to go see another one of those. Man, they need to get that 3rd fight going. Come on, Conor. Give Nate Diaz
right now it is pushing. If I remember correctly, it was Joe Rogan that was saying that we're expecting the trilogy fight between Conor and Nate Diaz. Oh, I'm gonna love that. I'm gonna love that so much because, like, first off, the 209 Stockton slap. My boy Nate Diaz coming back again. I would love to see him get in a 25-minute brawl with Conor. Because not only that, but we're also going to... Nate Diaz, he is going to just stand up and square up with Conor. And so that's going to work in his favor.
Last 2 fights every time.
And so it's... I don't know, I'm really going to love that fight if it happens. Whether it's the 4th fight with Dustin or the trilogy fight with Nate Diaz.
I hope, for real. I really do. Like, we gotta hope and pray, man, to the fighting gods, man. Let's get it going. Get it popping. Cyril Gane Francis. Come on.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see how that fight is going to turn out, because I remember watching the sparring footage between Francis and Gane. I mean, unless I'm just being a complete dunce right now, they seemed pretty evenly matched in that sparring footage.
Which one?
When the spar between Francis and Cyril Gane. Like
Oh, I mean, yeah, but I mean, you know what
it's
I'm
just
saying?
sparring
They're
though.
both evolved fighters now.
Yeah.
Francis is a champ. Cyril Gaines number one contender now. Now they're both, when their fight comes, the title fight comes, they're both going to be on different levels. Like, literally, they're both looking to be the best versions of themselves that night to take gold. So it's like, literally, we're going to have to see who wants to pull on that tug of war rope a little more. Those guys
Yeah.
are, Cyril Gaines pretty fast, and he's got quick, versatile kicks that come out of nowhere, pretty whip and pretty explosive and pretty hard.
And he's got power too. The fact that he
and
TKO'd Derek Lewis.
Yeah, and Derek Lewis. I mean, unfortunately, he lost in his hometown. Very sad.
Yeah, which sucks.
But it's like it's all right, man. You go back to the drawing board, come back, throw another lunchbox at someone's head, man. It's all good. Go get back up there in that win column.
Yeah, because
it ain't a Nathan.
Yeah, because I mean, like, looking at the stats right now for Derek Lewis for Cyril Gain, he landed 100, or he threw 136 strikes and landed 112. Derek Lewis only threw 37 and landed 16.
112. That is dead eye accuracy.
That's 80% accuracy. And like I don't know, we're gonna see the savage monster that Francis Ngannou is versus the technical beast that Gaines is.
The 35-mile-an-hour puncher.
Yeah. Freaking, is it Cyril Gain that's going to dominate with his technical prowess, or is it going to be Francis Ngannou hitting him like a Ford Focus?
Yeah, it's going to be, I think, it's like Frogger, you know, when you're just jumping in the street, you can't get hit by that car.
Yeah.
You jumping, you know, you got to stick and move Muhammad Ali style. Like, he can stick and move, keep distance, and, you know, play his game out. He might be able to get a win over Francis, but if he lets Francis dictate the pace, use his strength, and land shots, close the distance, use his power, and that it's going to be a long night for Cyril Gain. That's all I'm saying.
And that was the same thing that was going into the Derek Lewis versus Cyril Gain fight, but I don't know. I want Francis to win, but I feel like Cyril Gain has a pretty good chance because the fact that he just dominated Derek Lewis, which is a beast in of himself. The fact that he dominated and TKO'd him with such prowess, with 80% striking accuracy.
Well, Derek Lewis,
we'll see
all
how
he
it
has
goes
to do
with
is
Francis.
hit you like one time. Derek Lewis don't have to hit you that much. He don't have to throw like a 3, 4, 5 punch combination every 2, 3, 4 seconds. You know what I'm saying? He could throw 1, 2, 1, 2, 3 every like for 3 or 4 seconds. You know what I'm saying? A 1, 2, like it's kind of like a Deontay Wilder. That's what I think of. You know, of Derek Lewis. You know, it's. I mean, I'm not bashing on the guy. The guy's a monster. He's a beast, and he's ultra good. But he's kind of like a one-trick pony, you know what I'm saying? He needs to get that jiu-jitsu up, that wrestling up, you know what I'm saying? That dirty boxing, that fence game,
I think
the
he needs to
technical
develop
ability,
more.
you know what I'm saying? Like control. You got to just not be worried about trying to knock people out with every 1, 2, hook, 3, you know, using your techniques to get the ultimate knockout every swing. And then when you miss, you're losing air. You're swinging, missing, huffing air. It's not even, you know, it's 11 strikes, like, to his 30 in a single round. Like, come on, man. That just blows you out of the water. And that's damn near equivalent to the last 2 rounds after that. That score, like, literally. So that's complete dominance on Cyril Gain's part. Like, he's toying with him. And then and then I saw a tweet the other day that Cyril Gain quoted that, you know, he said that, oh, he didn't touch me, but I touched him. So with that statement being said, he's declaring, pretty much stating that he dominated Derek Lewis without a scratch, and it's like I'm next in line for this, solidifying his number one contender status. So it's
he's the interim. I thought that was weird though. Like I feel like Gaines, he does deserve interim.
Why do we have interim belts? I don't think we should have interim belts. Like you might as well have like a junior interim belt then.
Yeah,
like, you know what I'm saying?
It's like a 50-50
and then the belt. Like no, I don't. There's just one and only belt. Like the BMF belt, that might have been a little too much. Like.
Yeah, because that's what's kind of like
cool,
turning.
It's dope. I mean, I haven't seen anyone fight for it since Masvidal in that one fight. I mean, if you're gonna make it a belt for the organization and for the promotion, bring The Rock in, do all this fancy rah-rah shit, at least keep the belt going with defenses, like where it could get passed down to the next baddest motherfucker. You know what I mean? Like
but like Diaz, the BMF belt was a money fight.
There's a lot of bad motherfuckers out there, dude. A lot of bad motherfuckers out there. Like, let's get Masvidal to defend that BMF belt against another bad motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's
have him fight Steven Wonderboy, the nicest motherfucker.
Oh yeah, you know that's the fight that'll just pipe dream. You know that'll never.
I wonder how that fight would turn out now. Cause I mean, like, Steven, he just lost to Gilbert Burns, but I mean, how would that fare now if there was a rematch between Masvidal and Steven Wonderboy? I mean,
I don't know. I honestly, I would see Wonderboy getting that because his karate is too
yeah, and
much.
his technical skills, because that's what
It's
led him
too
the victory
much.
last time.
Gilbert Burns is just really explosive, and he closed the distance, and he pretty much did what you have to do to beat Wonderboy. Like,
Yeah,
literally, that's what you have to do to beat him. He did it.
yeah, the same
So
way that
he got the
Tyron
dub.
won.
Huh?
Same way
I'm
that
sorry.
like Tyron did the same thing with Wonderboy. It's like once you get him in the range and then you get him on the ground, then it's you cut out and eliminate a lot of his karate skills, and he just
Yeah.
can't. He doesn't
Speaking of
have an answer.
Tyron Woodley, isn't he? He's fighting the problem bitch Jake Paul, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that should be happening this month, right?
That is happening this month in the
Yeah,
next couple weeks or so.
yeah. I think was it like August 28th?
29th or 28th, one of
Yeah.
the two dates. But these guys are about to get it in. Jake Paul's looking clean. He looks pretty damn good for his training. I ain't gonna, I'm gonna give credit where credit's due. Tyron Woodley's been boxing. He's a Hall of Famer. He's been boxing his whole life. MMA, boxing's a part of MMA. It's one every fight starts standing up, and Tyron Woodley's been fighting while he was in diapers. So and while he was on Disney Channel sucking Mickey Mouse dick. So it's
I
like
love
literally.
watching the 5 years ago comparison between Woodley and Jake, because it shows Jake Paul doing the really funny old dumb vines, and then
Oh,
it shows Woodley at the same time period getting the belt and becoming a champion. So I that stuff has been
yeah.
cracking me
So
up,
it's
but
like
I
he's
can't wait for that
five
fight.
time world. He's Hall of Fame 5-time world champion. Tyron Woodley's been there, done that
Hmm.
practically. He just hasn't held two belts,
And now he's
and he's
also
never held a
training with
boxing title.
Floyd now.
So yeah, he's in Floyd, the best of the best, the goat of boxing, is training Tyron Woodley, and then it's like Mayweather's not fighting for you. What are you gonna do differently that Ben couldn't do? Well, first off, Ben's not Tyron Woodley's not a pudgy piece of bubble gum that came off the couch to fight you, and secondly, Tyron
Ben
Woodley's
Askren is a
training.
wrestler, not a striker.
Tyron Woodley's training. Ben wasn't. Ben was training too, but I mean, as you can see at the weigh-ins, he wasn't training hard enough. Like, what I'm saying? He got knocked out within, like, first round.
Yeah, it was like the
Looking
first
like
30
shit
seconds.
looked staged damn near. Like, the way he felt. I'm like, oh, man. But, I mean, it's like Jake Paul's got some hands, If you don't come correct, he's going to get you. Jake Paul's got hands. Like, that's one thing we have to realize. But I feel like he's easy to beat. That's my only thing.
Yeah.
He's a bitch that's easy to beat. Like, and he talks all this shit. Like, he's, like, a king or he's good.
And we haven't seen him go through any adversity, and I feel
And by the way,
Tyron is going to be the step for it.
By the way, you are not beating Canelo in the next 5 years. That is not happening. In the next 3 to 5 years, I think he
I
said.
don't even think Jake would be able to land a punch on Canelo. All Canelo's got to do is freaking bust out the head movement, all his defensive skills. He ain't gonna be able to land a single punch, and Canelo will dictate that fight easily.
Yeah,
Like,
Canelo
you can't
will
just challenge him
literally
like
beat
that.
him like a stepchild. Like, beat the brakes off this guy. Like, it's literally no tomorrow. It'll just be a clinic for free. For him, it's nothing. He's just working out in the gym. But he's beating your ass, literally, like Tyron Woodley's gonna do, beat your ass.
Yeah.
Tyron Woodley's a real fighter. That's the difference in all his fights. Three wins against a YouTuber, a boxer. I mean, a YouTuber, sorry, an NBA player, and
Are you actually referring to Jake Paul with his
Jake
wins?
Paul, yeah,
Yeah.
and then a retired fat wrestler out of shape MMA fighter. So it's like he's not really representing the MMA community because I wouldn't put him up there against Jake Paul to represent, because obviously he's not in the condition, physical shape, or being to even be compared to Jake Paul about physical fitness and body and and strength and everything. Like, he just looks over you, and it's just doesn't look good. It doesn't look good at all on the scale. So Tyron Woodley's in shape, he's cut, he's ready to go, and he's a real fighter, and he brings the pain. So it's like
We just gotta see if he actually pulls through and comes in clutch,
we've all seen him
or if
knock
he
out
just falls
Robbie
short.
Lawler. How he knocked out Robbie Lawler.
Yeah, we
He
don't
lands
want
that
to
on
see
Jake
him
Paul.
get dominated like Kamaru Usman.
No, but this time you can't get taken down and slammed and
Yeah.
drained of your energy like that. This is straight up hands.
Mm-hmm.
So you're trying to knock each other out. So if I'm putting knockout for knockout power, I'm going with Tyron Woodley.
Yeah. I just hope he doesn't fall back on that bad habit of only looking for that one big knockout punch, because that's what cost him the fight against Kamaru Usman, and then even Ben Askren was saying
Well,
that
Kamaru Usman had his way with Tyron Woodley. Like, whenever he grabbed him, he was on the ground.
Yeah.
He picked up Tyron Woodley. Whenever he grabbed him, he picked him up, slammed him. Then he would throw punches. Like, dude, he dominated Tyron.
Yeah, but then when
dominated Tyron,
and then when Tyron started to actually open up more, then he was actually landing on Kamaru because it was one of the later rounds that he actually kind of rocked Usman a little bit. But even Ben Askren was saying that Tyron Woodley, he has a bad tendency of just looking for that one punch knockout instead of just letting it go and throw hands. So I really hope with the fight against Jake Paul, he's just gonna let it go and throw hands.
He'll let it go and throw hands. You know, it's just you gotta fight smart. You know, you can't just go out there and just flurry bum people, rush. You know what I'm saying? You gotta actually, you know, sit back. First round's a feeling out process. Second round should be where, you know, time to go. Let's get it. Let's see what you're made of. You know what I'm saying? Like it's, you know, or just exploit your game plan or don't. It's all you in there, you know, and you're fighting, no one else. So it's like you do you. But a lot of people, your coaches are giving you a game plan, telling you what to do. You know.
And he's working under Floyd as well.
So yeah, so you got that, and Floyd coaching him, 50-0 boxer.
I really hope he pulls the W. Again,
Paul,
I feel like Jake Paul is going to be able to sneak in, win. He has that chance, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it turns out.
Bye. Your ass going to get mopped.
All right. What do you think of the Anderson Silva versus Tito Ortiz boxing match? That's just weird.
Okay, Anderson Silva. The thing is about that, Anderson Silva, Tito Ortiz, I don't think Anderson Silva could move. I don't think Tito Ortiz could move as fast as Anderson Silva. Honestly, I really don't. And then on top of
Tito is just gonna try to brawl.
Well, I mean, yeah, he is. Tito's a brawler. Tito is well known as a brawler, so I mean that's expected. But Anderson Silva, you know, he's got a dub in boxing. Tito's never boxed. Tito's just dipping his feet in the boxing world for the first time. So we're gonna see how Tito boxes and how he carries himself as a boxer, and you know what I'm saying, as he, you know, starts doing this for the first time, or who knows. I think this is a one-off, but we'll see for Tito Ortiz.
Yeah, I think it's weird. Like Tito Ortiz, that's just such a random curveball because it was originally expecting Anderson Silva versus Logan Paul because Anderson Silva was expressing interest in fighting Logan and then there was conversation about it, and then all of a sudden, I am Anderson Silva versus Tito Ortiz, Fight Club Thriller. Or Triller, whatever it's called. And I'm just like, huh?
Yep. So they just said, fuck Logan Paul. Because let me tell you something. that if I got sent a big money contract, I'm definitely taking the fight. I don't care who it is. Like when Jake Paul sent Conor McGregor a $50 million offer. $50 million offer?
No, that's chump change for Conor, though. He wipes his ass with that money.
Yeah, but he doesn't just make $50 million off fighting, dude. That's like added up funds through
wasn't
his
it $5 million?
And shit.
Was it $5 million or $50 million?
He got $175 million or something at the Mayweather fight.
Well, no, I mean Jake Paul.
$50 million, dude. That's a lot. That's like a regular boxing cut, like, because Mayweather gets like, no, sorry, Mayweather gets $400 million, but $40 million, $50 million is a lot of money, dude. Like, I don't know, but I would have took that and mopped the floor with Jake Paul. Like,
yeah, but I don't know if it was 50 or 5 million, whatnot, but yeah, I don't know, because like from Conor's perspective, like that money really isn't worth it. But then again, he is now talking about doing a wheelchair boxing fight, which is absolutely mind-boggling.
Doing no wheelchair boxing fight.
Why would he even tantalize that idea?
He ain't doing no damn wheelchair boxing fight.
That's all. That is the biggest blow to someone's legacy. Like wolf that's tickets, like, ooh.
Don't be selling no wolf tickets to people, man. Don't mislead the people. We ain't worried about no boxing match in wheelchairs because that's not gonna happen. So we're not going to talk about
it doesn't happen. That would be such. Oh, that would be a bad blow. Yeah, no, that shit cracks me up. Yeah, no, it's weird what's going on with all the boxing stuff now. I mean, some of the crossovers are good. Like I genuinely enjoyed that Frank Mir fight crossover. That was a good one. I mean, he lost, but
Frank Mir, he did good though. He went the distance and he landed some good shots.
Yeah, that showed a good representation, and then Anderson Silva was a good representation. But I don't know. I don't like the idea toward Tito Ortiz doing it.
I don't like the idea either. I didn't like the idea of him fighting Chuck again for the third time.
That was just all money.
I kind of knew Tito was a little bit more in shape, a little bit more healthier, a little bit more stronger. You know what I'm saying? Because Tito was more. I mean, you know, he's a more aged fighter. You know, in the division, and he's not really is what he used to be, but he could still go.
Yeah.
So Chuck Liddell was just old enough to where he could do what he wanted to him. You know, Chuck Liddell's not what he used to be. But Chuck Liddell can still swing and bang. So it's like you got to watch out for them punches. But Tito Ortiz pretty much used his strength and pretty much, I would say, dare I say, his age against Chuck Liddell.
Yeah.
And to overcome his efforts to beat him in that fight.
I don't know how I'd have to say it, but I don't see it faring well at all for Tito Ortiz. I mean, he's got the power and everything, and he brawls, but you're going against Anderson Silva. Like, Anderson Silva, yes, he's old, and yes, he has that ankle injury, but you saw how impeccable and just
he's got the
skilled
hands.
He was. Yeah,
he's got the hands.
And they're from two different divisions as well.
Hands and footwork. So you got that footwork down with that titanium rod, man. That ain't going to be Nathan. I mean, really. I mean, it's like he'll be healed up, ready to go by then. He gets a boxing match lined up for him. He'll be able to move and do everything he needs. Now he's got a supported ankle foot shoe that you got to wear for boxing, which will probably help him out tremendously, and he'll probably be able to go back to his old self, in my opinion. But I guess we won't know until we see. I'm not going to start throwing accusations out there right now. But Jake Paul, Tyron Woodley, that's going to be dope.
Yeah, and we're finally gonna, like, even though Tyron Woodley hasn't won a fight in about 4 years, and he's on the downward end, and now he's gonna start a boxing career. I don't know how it's going to fare well, but regardless, with Tyron Woodley and his background, and regardless of what criticisms I have, he is a great test for Jake to really declare and show what skills Jake has and if he is a legit fighter. And then I feel like the next step is to don't take on a padded bum to pad your record or anything like that in the boxing world. Take on an actual boxer like Tommy Fury. That's the best
Tommy
example.
Fury's fighting on the same card.
Yeah, and Tommy Fury was saying that if Jake Paul or Logan Paul came up to him, did that same shit with Floyd, that he's just gonna straight up throw hands with them. He isn't gonna give two shits.
No, it's Tyson Fury. It's part of the Gypsy King, the Gypsy Brothers. Them dudes throw hands. The brother's the heavyweight king of the world.
I would love to see Tommy Fury versus Jake Paul. I would love to, because they're both starting their career and warming up in boxing.
I'm sure it'll get there.
It's perfect.
I think it'll get there. I think that is a really good matchup, and I think that's kind of what the people would like to see. And that's just again my opinion, but I feel like that'll be a good fight for Jake Paul. Mm-hmm. That would solidify definite boxer status for him,
and that would cut out all the
doubt.
All the doubt of fight a real boxer, fight a real fighter. That will cut it out. And, you know, it'll put our money where our mouth is, where it's like we got proved wrong on him or not. But we'll
eat
see.
The words or we won't. You know what I'm saying? We'll throw them at you, you know, like the bitch that you are. But we'll see. You know?
Yeah. It's going to be interesting, though. It's going to be very interesting. Let's see. What else do we got to talk about? I think we actually kind of talked about everything.
We covered like a good amount, jumping from topic to topic. So I mean, it's like we're trying to keep it going, flowing.
Oh yeah, Marvin Vettori versus Paulo Costa. That was the last thing that we had to cover.
Marvin Vettori, that guy, man. My boxing coach knows him.
Oh, does he?
Yeah, it's a she, and she knows. She's personal friends with their coaches of Marvin Vettori. So, wow. I mean, and then she knows him on another level, on another note. And then she personally knows Rampage Jackson, which is pretty cool. And she talked about that, and you know what I'm saying? But Marvin Vettori, that guy right there is he's a true Italian beast. But, I mean, he's got
the Italian styling.
Those hands you got to get those hands a little better, I feel. I mean, your power, pressure, your presence. I feel it. It's there. You know what I'm saying? I see it. It was on Adesanya. You enforce your will, takedowns. It's there.
Yeah, but
I wonder if hands though, man.
Yeah, I wonder because I mean, Paulo Costa, he loves to stand up and trade, and he has the highest strikes landed per minute out of everyone. But I wonder if Marvin tries to wrestle with Paulo Costa, will we actually see Paulo Costa bust out his freaking black belt finally? Well, that'd be interesting.
Paulo Costa's already a big enough dude, hard enough to take down as it is, especially if he comes into a fight fresh. I mean, it's like you got to weather the storm, you know. You gotta like literally beat him, fight him. Probably first round if you're lucky enough to get a good feel out process. Second round, probably start imposing your will then if you think you got it by then, figured him out. I would try in the second round, but you got to literally start going on him. You got to weather the storm and punch him out, get him tired and get those muscles tired and sore. Then start taking him down where he's really got to use his energy and strength while he's beaten up.
I don't know. Yeah, and
that would be a key element for Marvin Vettori to pull this dub out on Paulo Costa. Other than that, Paulo Costa's got lightning quick hands. He's really big. He's got power. I would love to see his thighs are tree trunks.
And I'd love to see his
freak of nature.
I'd love to see his ground game too. I feel maybe this will finally be a fight where we get to see some of Paulo Costa's like actual ground game skills and his black belt in BJJ. That'd be interesting to see.
His legs are so big. I feel like if you got stuck in that thing, stuck in that triangle, that's like instant tap, right?
I was gonna say, imagine Paulo Costa tapped him out with the triangle choke. Freaking just destroy him.
Yeah, like the muscles already big. There's no gap. It's like if it gets tight, there's no like space. That's like second he clinches up. That's like done. Or you're just gonna pass out. He's got a big ass bicep, so good luck with that rear naked choke defend.
Yeah,
but I mean, still, we'll never know. We gotta wait and see.
Yeah,
it's gonna be a really highly anticipated fight when the promos start coming out.
I'm gonna love it. It's gonna be fun to watch all of it.
Dope tattoos, man. Too Marvin Vettori. That's pretty dope, man.
Yeah,
some gnarly tattoos. But Paulo Costa, get tattoos, bro. Get some. Your body's too plain. Get some.
That was funny. But yeah, I think that actually just kind of wraps up everything. We've been going an hour plus strong, but yeah. It was great having you back on, man. I know it's been like a month since we've done this, but freaking about time.
Hey, man,
we had a lot to cover.
Like I said, blame it on COVID.
Yeah, it's always COVID fault.
Just blame it on fucking COVID. I left your keys in the car. COVID.
Coronavirus.
Karate beats. Coronavirus. It is real. Shut up, motherfucker.
I'm dead. Okay, well, hey, thank you guys so much for watching. Appreciate you guys watching. We love you guys. Be sure to share, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Remember, once I hit 100 subs, I'm going to go and do the Ghost Pepper Challenge. Once I hit 500, I'm going to do the Hot Chip Challenge.
We got the Hot Chip. I seen it. I was at the gas station the other day. I seen the Hot Chip Chevron. They got it right there. The Scorpion Habanero pepper, or whatever it's called. The Scorpion Pepper. Ghost pepper is right there in a flaming box with a skull on it, and it's like, I think it's like $30, 12.
Yeah,
I think it's like 13 to $30 or something like that.
Yeah, just for the
I'm
one.
Pretty sure it's like $13. Fuck to $30, but it's like $13, I think. But I mean, it's still small, small. I mean, it's a small price to pay for a larger price to pay in the later run, So it's kind of a shitty. You get both shit ends.
Laugh at my pain.
Yeah, laugh at your pain, Kevin Hart.
Yeah. But again, thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.